You're standing there with a rusted pipe in your hand, a busted metal gate that needs a quick fix, and that nagging thought that the next thing you buy might just end up gathering dust. I get it, you don't want to drop cash on a welder that sounds great on paper, but turns out to be a mismatch for your garage or your weekend projects. That hesitation is the exact reason I wanted to talk about the Maxstar 161S Series 240V stick welder before you click Add to Cart. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the Maxstar line comes from Miller, a name most of us already trust for welding gear. The 161S is a single-phase, 240-volt stick welder, which immediately tells you a couple of things. It's built for the kind of work where you have a stable 240V outlet, think a dedicated shop circuit, or a well-wired home garage. If you're still on a standard 120V household line, you'll need to run a new circuit, or look at a different model, and that's a cost and effort you should factor into the decision. What makes a stick welder appealing to a lot of DIYers is its simplicity. You drop a consumable electrode into the holder, set the amperage, and you're welding. No gas bottles, no intricate wire feeding mechanisms. The Maxstar 161S keeps that straightforward approach, which is a strength if you're just starting out, or you need a tool that won't require a lot of tinkering before the first bead. The learning curve stays low, and that translates into fewer wasted hours trying to troubleshoot a fancy feature you never intended to use. Now, let's talk about where the value really shows up. The price point for this unit sits comfortably in the entry-mid range, making it accessible for hobbyists who have a budget, but still want a reputable brand on the shelf. Compared with the higher-end models that push 200A and beyond, you're not paying for a massive amp range you'll never tap into for typical home projects. The trade-off is that you won't have the headroom for very thick plate or heavy-duty structural welding. If you plan on building a full-scale steel chassis for a custom car, you'll probably outgrow the Maxstar's output faster than you'd like. In real-world use, I've seen the Maxstar 161S paired with a modest 20-foot welding cable and a standard workbench setup. For welding an inch steel fence post, the unit heats up quickly enough that you can lay down a solid bead without waiting for the torch to stabilize. The welds hold up when you test them with a simple twist test, nothing spectacular, but they are respectable for a repair job. When I moved to inch material for a small table frame, the machine started to struggle a bit, the arc became less stable, and I had to lower the travel speed to keep the penetration consistent. That's the hidden trade-off. The amperage range is fine for light to medium thickness, but it can feel cramped when you push into heavier steel. Another practical point is portability. The Maxstar 161S isn't a tabletop monster, it's light enough to carry around the shop, but it isn't featherweight either. If you need a welder you can toss into a trunk and drive to a job site, you'll still need to bring a decent length of 240V power cord, and you'll have to make sure the outlet at the destination can handle the load. For a backyard fence repair or a quick metal art piece, the weight isn't a burden. For a professional who's hopping from site to site daily, you might prefer something designed with a rugged handle and built-in transformer cooling that can handle constant travel. What about the user interface? The control knob on the Maxstar is a simple dial that clicks into place as you turn it, giving you a tactile sense of the amperage you're selecting. There's no digital readout, which some newer units boast, but that also means there's less that can go wrong with the screen. In practice, that translates to a reliable feel. You set it, you weld, you don't have to keep glancing at a tiny LCD to verify the setting. For someone who likes to focus on the workpiece, that can be a subtle but real boost to productivity. If you're wondering about the consumables, the Maxstar accepts standard stick electrodes, ranging from E6010 for deep penetration to E7018 for smoother finishes. That flexibility is a plus because you can stock the rods you already have in your toolbox. There's no proprietary electrode system locking you into a specific brand, which keeps ongoing costs predictable. Let's outline who should actually consider this machine. First, homeowners who do occasional metal repairs. Think fixing a broken railing, patching a leaky steel tank, or building a small garden trellis will find the Maxstar's power and ease of use more than sufficient. Second, hobbyists who enjoy fabricating small projects like metal art, custom bike frames, or simple automotive parts will appreciate the straightforward stick welding approach without the added expense of multiprocess welders. Third, a small,